Do you wanna take off the waiting room?
No.
Alright.
Mainly because we've been porn bombed a couple times, and
Recently?
yeah.
Oh,
During a planning commission meeting.
And then that one time with Nancy, but I.
That's great.
Okay, let's get started. We are recording, I think. It's
Yes.
11:02. We are here May 16th, 2023 at our regular BOCC meeting. If everybody would please silence your cell phones and join me for a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence, we can begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Let's see. It's missing on here, but do we have an approval of the agenda? Any changes or alterations to the 10 items that we have for business?
I don't, I think somebody needs to be muted. It's the only thing. I don't know.
That noise,
Yeah.
I think that's the.
Oh, okay.
Boiler.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. We're good.
No changes to the agenda?
None for me, thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain an approval.
I will make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second,
Any further discussion?
None for me, thank you.
none for me.
Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Alright, moving on to community informational items. Commissioner Fiedler,
Nothing for me.
Commissioner Marcella,
Yeah, just continuing to work, with the school district from Bright Start's perspective on, some preschool enrollment and, collecting some feedback on, choice of program, and so sharing those discussions amongst, us as stakeholder groups so that we can try to figure out the best way to meet the needs of our community for early childhood, education. So, those are ongoing. I'll meet with the district, executive staff later this week, and go from there. So I know there's been a lot of chat about the center's programming and enrollments and those kinds of things, and so Bright Start is definitely here to be a partner to solve and fill the gap with our limited space. But yeah, we'll do that. So that's what I've got. And I think just quickly, like, I know that there's a lot of discussion out there about property cards being hidden, and I just wanna be transparent about that. My home is valued at $479,000. It increased by over $180,000 from the last valuation period. My address is hidden because of comments on social media, asking people to dump trash and destroy my personal property, which I don't think is appropriate, and I have children that have the right to use their yard and play in their yard without worrying about people causing damage or hurting them in the process. And so just want to be transparent about it, and if you need more information, you're welcome to do a court request for it. So but I just don't have the time or the energy to do the social media thing because I'm doing this job and raising my children, and so they deserve to have a place to play. And I think that Commissioner Fiedler answered those questions on the bitch and moan. So if anybody needs any further clarification, you're welcome to do a core request for it because there's really nothing to hide there except to keep my family safe. So just wanted to get that out there and address it head on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will keep it brief today. Friends of Lake County opening event May 18th coming up Thursday night at Freight 4 to 6. Our tourism director has been spearheading the direction of the tourism panel to create the Friends of Lake County group, which is meant to support and work in cooperation with the U.S. Forest Service. And we hope that eventually we can become a strong entity to advocate and get some more resources from the Forest Service by such examples like Dillon District, Friends of Dillon District, and they address bigger policy and resource management at the Forest Service, such as mitigation, wildfire mitigation efforts. So that's happening this Thursday afternoon.
Trivia on Friday benefits the library.
And trivia on Friday at Freight benefits the library.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's always a fun time.
Yeah, sorry, and just quickly, like, it came out of my
Great.
brain, but just want to extend a congratulations to Udelia Contreras on being named the new executive director of Full Circle. I know she's worked really hard as this in the past as the president of the school board, and so to see this next step for her is really, really great. And I'm excited about getting to work with her on the Hunger Free Colorado stuff. So congratulations to Udelia, and Build a Generation has a fundraiser this weekend as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Anything else?
I did forget, just more Justice Center stuff. Friday, we'll make a selection for the firm to do the sort of assessment and master planning of this facility. So that one of 3 pathways that we're looking at.
Cool.
So things are moving.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right. We don't have any commissioner clarification, or do we have any? I don't have any commissioner clarifications. Does
No, not
anyone
for me.
else?
Thank you.
Okay.
Not me.
Okay. Moving on to public comments on items that are not on the agenda. Do we have any public comment online or in the room on items not on the agenda? Yeah, it's only those 4. I don't see any. And seeing none, we'll move on. All right, on to new business. First on our agenda, we have the discussion and consideration of Get Outdoors Leadville proposals for the purchase of an activity bus with support from the Lifetime Foundation. And we have Carrie Quinlan online and Tim Best and some other folks, hi,
Mary
in the
Palumbo.
room, Mary Palumbo in the room. Should I hand it over to Carrie? All right. Good to see you, Carrie.
Hi,
Hello.
good to see you too. Thanks so much for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes, and I haven't done this before, so feel free to guide me. But basically, we've been the Lifetime Foundation, or Tamara from Lifetime Fitness had a conversation with Vanessa a couple months back, just seeing if there was maybe a potential win-win for something that Lifetime might be interested in funding for Get Outdoors Leadville. And they landed on the idea of an activity bus, which would really help us kind of fully activate what we're trying to do with programming. And so we've been sort of just nudging this process along, seeing if we can get to a place where we could sort of match the limited inventory available for activity buses right now with the potential Lifetime application. And we're at a really good point where we're looking for an approval and a signature on the buyer's order, which I confirmed would be non-binding, but that would allow us, our recommended vendor, to hold the bus in inventory for 30 days if approved by you all. And then our Lifetime application has been submitted and they're working through a process of hopeful approval for that. And if so, it looks like our timelines would hopefully meet up and we could have the bus by sometime in mid-June.
Okay. So, sorry.
And I can give you more, let me know if you have questions and I can talk you through the bid process if you want.
And Carrie and Michael Irwin have been working together on how we could fit this into our fleet program. and have that, and have the activity bus be part of that.
Excellent, okay, yeah, I think my questions were leading to that on like just ongoing maintenance, does that fit in with our ability to maintain the bus and or use it? I mean, I don't know if, are you meaning to be using it across departments potentially? I mean, the priority would be remain at goal for sole use at goal.
Yeah, certainly, I think that when it's not in use, we would be open to having it in used interdepartmental, sure.
And what happens to the other bus that you have? Will you use both of them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I figured. Okay. Cool.
Right.
I don't have any questions.
Yeah, I think that was the main one, yeah.
Okay, so is it fair if we could make a motion kind of contingent on the approval of Lifetime Foundation? With that cooperated effort of purchasing? Or would you prefer, or would you intend to buy it?
Well, I think we're at the point, Karen, correct me if I'm wrong, where like we can get the sort of the signature from y'all on the buyer's agreement, and we have 30 days for that to like stand, and in that time period, we will then like hear back from the Lifetime grant, and that will be like the go or no go decision point of the purchase, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
yeah, Carrie, chime in please if that was.
Nope, that was a good description, Mary. So basically what we would need today, our recommended vendor is Davy Coach. They have just been really responsive and given us lots of information and worked on a discount for us. And the bus is located in state, not out of state. And it's a slightly bigger of a bus that was at a little bit of a higher price point, but they were able to basically match the price. And there's a $1,500 difference between that and the quote we got from Masters, with Davy Coach being $1,500 more expensive, but that's only because there's catalytic converter protection on it, which I wanted to confirm with Michael Irwin if he thought that we should keep that or not, but we wouldn't be beholden to that. So that's our recommendation, is to go with them. And so what we would want today, hopefully, is a signature from on the buyer's order, so that they feel confident that our intention is to purchase the bus, and they're aware of our funding situation. So they know that if that funding doesn't come through, that we won't be making the purchase.
So this is Chris Floyd, County Attorney, and I would say this is a standard buyer's order for purchase of a vehicle. Once signed, it is a commitment to purchase the vehicle. So if you want to wait until you have a commitment from Lifetime, I don't recommend you sign off on this buyer's order until then. We can't, because you are committing to buy the vehicle regardless of the funding under this document.
Do we have anything else in writing?
There's a proposal, which I apologize.
Chris, if it helps, I brought the buyer's order if you would like to.
Oh, I've got it
Oh, I see.
electronically.
Okay, great.
But I was gonna say, there's a proposal that's included in it too. Perhaps, I mean, if they want something to indicate an intent to buy without, with the funding, so maybe we could do something with that or something. But yeah, once this is signed, you're committing to buy that vehicle.
That's really helpful, Chris, because that's been my question all along, and I've been trying to, I've talked with them about it and been trying to get clarity. So if there was a recommendation on what we could do with them to secure it, but have it be non-binding, I'd be happy to revisit that with them.
Yeah, if you can, maybe if there's something besides the buyer's order, if there's some sort of,
Can we write a letter of intent?
Well, I was gonna say something to that effect, or there's usually a form like a vehicle order sheet or something that's not binding the same way as the contract is.
Okay.
That maybe we could do something like that with them instead.
Okay. So then if how should I further the conversation, if I'm able to go back to them and they're willing to provide something else, what would be the next step in being able to present it for a signature?
Are you in email communication with them, Carrie?
Yes, and phone.
Send them an email and copy me. I'm happy to follow up with them to get
Okay.
an appropriate document. At this point in time, I think we can attest to them that if the commissioners are willing to accept the proposal and condition purchase of the vehicle on the receipt of the funding from Lifetime Fitness, I would hope they would accept that. But I mean, I can work with them to find something else, find something else that'll give them some assurances. But the commissioners just can't sign off on the buyer's order without the confirmation of the funding, sorry.
Okay, great.
Could we approve this pending the decision from the Lifetime Foundation and then sign it once we find out from Lifetime? I thought that Tamara said yesterday Lifetime needed our approval first.
I wonder if we can't make a motion just to support the proposal contingent on the Lifetime funding and execute the appropriate level of
Sign the
support or
buyer's order
documentation
when
without.
appropriate.
Direct your attorney to follow up.
Well, and that's what, I was gonna say, I think that's the appropriate, because there are a couple of documents in the packet, one of which is a proposal from them. And maybe what you can do is you can make a motion to accept the proposal from Masters pending.
Well, it's actually the proposal, that was a separate bid, Chris. It's the proposal that we want to accept is actually from Davy Coach, what the buyer's order is. The Masters was the other bid presented.
Okay. Do we have a proposal from Davy Coach?
This,
Because I'm seeing Masters, I see two proposals that look like, are they from Get Outdoors Leadville, but I'm not seeing anything in the package.
yeah, so Davy Coach sent us sort of like, more of an email with the description and all the photos and everything like that. And then their sort of formal, let me look here real quick and see if I can find what they originally sent.
Yeah, and perhaps what you could do is if the commissioners wanted today to say that you approve the buyer's order pending the funding, and then I can represent that to them, that it has been approved pending funding. And that, that way, once the funding is completed, you don't have to come back through the approval process for it. That's when it would be signed by the commissioners.
Which I'm good with that, because I think we just need to be able to save the price for 30 days.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that typically the process is that for any vendor or contractor with the county, that they sign the contract first, and the buyer's order I'm looking at, unless Karen has one that's different, isn't signed by them. So it's not binding on Davy Coach yet either. And so I would ask that they have a buyer's order, they present it signed, and then send it to us for execution once the funding is approved.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll entertain a motion for the support and approval of the buyer's order with Davy Coach pending,
Funding from Lifetime.
thank you,
Foundation.
funding from Lifetime Foundation, and a signature on behalf of Davy Coach.
Okay.
So moved.
No.
Second?
Any further discussion?
No, none for me, thank you.
Good, no, thanks.
All those in favor? Aye,
All right.
Bye.
thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks, Carrie. Thanks, Vanessa.
All right. Let's see. All right, number 2, discussion and consideration of the statement of work for Civic Engagement Central Content Management Systems. We have Tom Hetman from our IT department here. We did review and discuss this at our last work session, or one of our last work sessions. Anything different?
I just
In the-
followed up with Broward County, and they said that they're happy.
Excellent.
The platform, that it's user-friendly, particularly for, I guess, tech savvy, it's just extremely user-friendly.
Awesome, appreciate you doing that, thank you.
And so, and I don't know if y'all noticed, but there's an additional document in the packet, because when I looked at the documents that they sent over for this, it is, it references their master terms and conditions, which was in another document, so I believe, unless I messed it up, I
put it in there.
uploaded it with some provisions. It's a click-through agreement kind of thing, so it's not really modifiable, but I highlighted some provisions to make sure that y'all understand kind of, and put some comments in there in terms of, to make sure you understand, in terms of like, the way I'm understanding this transaction is they want the county to pay everything up front. Well, if you do and it doesn't work, you don't get any of that money back. So just to be aware that there's no refund on this.
Okay.
So, yeah, and so there's a civic plus
Was it,
master
what was
services
it,
agreement. It's called the-
23-ish thousand up front?
I
Sorry,
think so.
pull up.
That was 24.
And so I just highlighted some stuff just to make sure that that's drawn to your attention. And then if anything goes wrong, their limitation of their liability is what they've been paid. They just claim all warranties, which means essentially if it doesn't work, they're not responsible. We make unilateral changes to the agreement at any time. Normally, I wouldn't recommend accepting this type of a thing, but with IT companies these days, especially software as a service providers like this, they don't want to take any responsibility for their product.
I'm just looking at all those. I mean, I don't, if there's,
I mean, we're already using them for
Yeah.
something else, which
Yeah.
I look back in my file and noticed that the master services agreement wasn't provided for that initial transaction, so we didn't have the opportunity to review this then. But if we haven't had any issues with the product they've provided so far, then I think our risk of having issues with this one might be smaller. But, and if other folks are using it without issue, then they're probably okay. But just want y'all to be aware of that.
Yeah, and sorry, I hadn't looked carefully at the, at like the timing of payments, so like how, I mean, and with that point in mind, so you mentioned 23,000, so I was like trying to find it, but like, if someone just knows on the top of their head, like how much money are we, like how often and how much are we paying?
20,250.
I was gonna say the
approximately the first
proposal
year,
is-
Then
That's the proposal.
8,250 annually.
Okay, and it would be an annual renewal?
Yeah.
Just as, yeah, so, okay, so there's that initial, like you said, 23, if it just like completely doesn't work out of the box.
Is the proposal.
This is not exact, this, but.
Yeah, close enough, yeah. I will say I was sort of as like monthly or,
Yeah.
annually or what.
yeah, and just to recap our conversation in the work session too, you brought to us, a different level of kind of module or subscription with Civic Plus, that helps navigate and edit the platform publicly facing, and then to do that internally, it has a whole host of user-friendly options, so that people can do that more readily, which has been important to us to.
Yeah, I think it'll be easier to navigate for our external users and easier to update for our internal users.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And they'll use a design team to create the new site, transition everything over,
okay,
and training for our employees before it goes live.
So the SOW is in the packet, and essentially it is the initial investment is for the first year, $20,243.80. The annual recurring services that start year 2 is $8,251.95. Like I said, it's all, the first year's paid in full upfront. There's an automatic 1-year renewal unless 60 days advance notice is provided for termination, so.
Okay. I don't have any questions. I think we have to do it no matter what, especially for the accessibility legislation that has just recently come down the pike that we'll need to meet, so I I know it's kind of a risk to take that upfront payment, but I think it's more of a risk to not have a
Make
good
some
faith
effort.
in doing that to like meet those requirements, so yeah, I don't know, I feel like that risk is worth it.
I would agree.
That makes sense.
And Tom, if you can just give Ann and CPD a heads up for the cloud permitting add-on that they're gonna do to the website, just so everything works smoothly.
Yeah, and then, yeah, we talked last time, any other departments that might change or not be able to change their platforms that they really have. But that will all be covered on the onboarding or the transition,
Yeah, department-specific training.
excellent, great,
Okay,
Okay.
I'm ready.
I move that we approve the statement of work and the master services agreement behind it for Civic Engage Central for the content management system.
a second.
Any further discussion?
No, thanks for taking this on, Tom.
All right, hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Great, thank you very much. Sorry, I'm trying to live in the teams in the packet and then the agenda somewhere else. And I don't think I've quite gotten down how to fluidly navigate. All right, item number 3, discussion and consideration of the following Lake County Public Health Agency contracts from the state. We have Child Fatality Prevention Act Statement of Work, Public Health and Environment Workforce Statement of Work, Increasing and Maintaining Immunizations Statement of Work, and Tobacco Prevention Statement of Work.
And Colleen is in meetings down in Denver today at CDPHE, so I will lead these. It was easier than just texting back and forth with her when to step out and join. So for the Child Fatality Prevention Act Statement of Work, this funding supports the ability to conduct reviews of preventable fatality in youth age 0 to 18 years. Yeah.
I'm sorry to bother you guys, but they said that they're gonna make a lot of noise at noon.
Okay.
And so.
Something about drilling.
We'll see where we're
It's gonna
at.
be really,
We
really,
might,
really loud
like,
at noon.
Zip right through this.
Yeah,
We-
thanks, Cindy.
Thank you for the heads up. Appreciate it.
They're to tell them to stop.
No worries,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out.
Buy them lunch. Can we-
Right, yeah. But conduct reviews of preventable fatalities in youth age 0 to 18. Thankfully, we have not had any. So what public health has used for this, they supplement prevention efforts with Leadville Lake County Fire Rescue with purchase of carbon monoxide and smoke detectors. This is in the amount of $3,500. So for the workforce, statement of work, so this is provided by CDPHE with goals of creating a strong workforce, promoting collaborations and planning. In the past, we have used this funding for professional development, supporting COVID response positions and other positions where other funding has fallen short. So for example, in the past, the tobacco coordinator and communications position at Public Health were partially funded through this grant. So there's, essentially this is an extension to spend out the funding through June of 2024. There's approximately $70,000 left in that budget. So we can, so that's what that one is for. Immunizations. So this supports the ability to reduce and eliminate vaccine preventable diseases by providing outreach, education, and administration of vaccines. This one is in the amount for $23,123. And tobacco cessation, so this funding supports the reduction of tobacco use and prevents the initiation of tobacco use through outreach and education with community partners, and that is in the amount of $50,000.
Okay.
So these are, these are all contracts with CDPHE that we've, used in the past and are funding opportunities for our local public health agency.
And I reviewed them all, and they're all just pretty standard. I did make some highlights in them for staff, just to make sure they understood all the different responsibilities that they have for administering these contracts and stuff. But it's my understanding from Colleen that these are some renewals, they're not new things that they've been
Yeah.
in, so they
Right.
should be well aware of what their obligations are to comply with the contract.
Okay,
And there will be, I think for 3 of them, there will be DocuSigns that,
Oh, okay,
Colleen will, find you, Sarah.
okay, yeah, I have
And
2,
force you to sign
I have 2 here, so that
and the rest should
Makes
come from
sense.
the state, I think.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any other questions for you. Thanks for
Me
that
either.
overview.
Pretty simple. Okay, I will make a motion that we approve Lake County Public Health Agency contracts from the state of Colorado, Department of Public Health and Environment, for Child Fatality Prevention Act, Public Health and Environmental Workforce Statement of Work, increasing and maintaining immunizations, and tobacco prevention work.
A second?
Any further discussion?
None for me, thank you.
Me?
Great, hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
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 On to number 4, consideration and proclamation of thanks to the individuals and organizations that contributed to the Southern Fire Station. And let's see. Pull this up.
So this came, and Chief Daly is on with us, as everyone in the community knows. This has been a very long project in the community. However, we should hopefully, by the end of this month, have the certificate of occupancy. This proclamation of thanks is to honor the contributions of the individuals and organizations that supported the Southern Fire Stations, whether through furniture donations, monetary donations, just general support when the headwinds were very strong, and things like that. So I'm happy to read it into the record. And Chief Daly, I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add?
I don't know if
I know he's at a conference too. And also Kelly Sweeney would have been here for Friends of Twin Lakes, but she has company in town, and I told her to enjoy company and that we would read the proclamation for her, and produce copies that could be hung in the schoolhouse at Twin Lakes and then at the new Southern Fire Station.
Excellent. Just a comment, and I'm sorry I didn't get to go through and like match, but I know some, hoping that they're included some private donations from Mount Massive Trout Club. Individuals came through the finance department years back.
Yeah, this list came from Kelly Sweeney and the Friends of Twin Lakes, called the Giving Tree, so they call it, yeah, and it had different tiers and levels that people donated. So that was Kelly's master list.
Okay,
I do not know if,
I think we got maybe like 3 a number of years ago, but if they're not included here, maybe we just follow up and make
Mount
sure.
Massive Trout Club, or there's individuals that you know?
Individuals who lived in
In
Mount
Mount
Massive
Massive
Trout Club,
Oh,
contributing.
And
but we don't know who those individuals.
Well, their donations should have come through the finance department.
Okay.
So I'm hoping we can check there.
and maybe any from Beaver Lake Estates.
Mhm.
Cool.
I know we had announced, those opportunities to support at some of their HOA meetings, a few years back, so. But, would you read it into the record for us, please? Thank you.
all right. Proclamation to honor.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hi, Chief.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm sorry I missed the getting on here the last time asked. I'm in transit right now, so I would like to say a couple of things. Good afternoon. I just want to say that it's just been a wonderful effort by our community members to bring everything that we possibly could to this project and soften the taxation with the costs and everything, and the love and support that everybody has had for public safety has just been absolutely wonderful. Essentially, if you were to take Station 2 and turn it upside down and shake it, that's everything that everybody's brought to the table when it pertains to everything that we're gonna be able to utilize inside that station, all the appliances, furniture, everything. And then there's also some extra funding left over for support in equipment and other items that the fire department be able to utilize for greater response capabilities as well. So I just want to say that I can't thank these people enough, our community members. It has just been a wonderful path. As long as, we all know it's been a long project, but working with our community members on this and being able to have their love and support for the donations have just been outstanding. So thank you very much for the recognition for these people today. It is most definitely warranted. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, I will read it into the record for the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners, County of Lake, in the state of Colorado. A proclamation to honor the contributions of all the individuals and organizations that supported the Southern Fire Station. Twin Lakes General Store, Bob Mathis, Twin Lakes Inn, Mark Knoll, Deanne Pierce, Dennis and Deb Couture, Lyle Williams, Terry and Ken Holland, Sonora, Simone Rogers, Kim and Keith Davick, Marge Hickman, Art Volk, Patricia and Robert Spence, Joan Weber, Bill Hollenbeck, Charles and Elena Moore, EF Bill and Linda Hollenbeck, Donna Cornelia, Mike and Kathy O'Leary, Judy Lemming, Dunk DeQ, Jessica Adams, John and Melena Bennett, Michael R. Henry, Barb and Larry Markham, Diane Silvica, Wayne Crome, Yvette and Lawson Gagne, Randolph and Barbara Plymell, Mons and Mary Roll, David and Kathy Roll, Marla Roll, Doug and Bruce and Connie Gable, Doreen and Steve Maglaria, Aralee and Chris Hines, Tom and Amanda Gohry, Beth and Daryl Manning, Greg Labe, Carol and Mark Glenn, Dixie Pierce, Lauren Grady and Bill Knoll, Marcia and Ralph Reidenhor, Elena and Charlie Moore, Kim and Kevin White, Charles and Janice Baggs, James and Sandra Joe Fitzgerald, Joanne Carrera, Twyla and Barry Bowden, Ken and Terry Holland, Carolyn Abbott, John King, Mike O'Leary, Lawson and Yvette Gagne, members of former Chief Alex Mitchie Halkett, Michael and Stacy Brown, Shalom Kaiser, Peter Bush, Donna and Phil Green, Donald and Karen Gardner, Ann and Brooks Bond, Connie King, Eric Gibb, Deborah Bailey Astroff, and Jeffrey Astroff, Walter Williams, the 10100 Santa Monica team, Chris Taylor, Alex and Hans Berglund, Ray and Judy Kilmer, Susan Sams, Denise and Rick Haggerty, William Frey and Marshall Pedersen, Chris Keelan, Linda and Patrick Keeley, David Sigafus and Kay Sigafus, David and Sophie Marbury, Jeff Ashby, Janice Bennett Good, Hamilton Lockey, MD, Dr. R.C. Mastrelli, Susan and James Allen, Bruce and Maureen Johnson, Mary Jean and Dan Wilkie, Max Flink, Chris Tyler, Carrie Skolatsk, William Frey and Marshall Peterson, Malai Wynn, David Smith, Caden and Alyssa Balltown Mini Motors, Stephen and Clara Kern, Sharon Bennett, Gino Gorey, Sean and Christian O'Rourke, Craig and Christine Nowak, Steve and Constance Erickson, Fred Woodcock Sr., Bev Gunderman, Andrea and Jonathan Frickholm, Owen and Patricia Plymell, Peter and Darlene Stadler, Harold and Shirley Wheeler, Rita and Roy Sovine, Wayne and Christine Brassier, Robert Zachary, Denver Post, Audrey and Randy Shamefell, Mount Albert Lodge, member of former Chief Alex Mitchie Halkett, Joanne Halkett and Mary Brannon, Melissa and Richard Meeker, Doug and Margie Nash, Lake County Community Fund, Daniel and Christine Corchis, Chief Daniel L. Daly, Dee Gross, Anita Mason, Phyllis Carnahan, Golden Eagle Drilling, MK High Country Wood, Shelley Cook, Carl and Kathy Wagner, Tim and Judy McGraw, Gary and Cheryl Bush, Greg and Desiree Beelman, Red Bull Media House, Mr. and Miss Douglas Metzler, Susie and Bobby Ramsdell, Colin and Sandra Perry, Stephen Hayden and Jocelyn Ellis, Kathleen and Dave Sherman, Wes Duran, Carl and Kathy Wagner, Ahmed and Paula Gaius, Kurt and Colleen Swagert, Mark and Annie Graff, Jeff Ashby, Kelly Sweeney and Robert Kriebel, Lifetime 100 Legacy Foundation, Jonathan Cran and Jessica Clark, JB Foundation, Bo Boof, Lowe's, Bruce and Mary Lee Hicks, Julian Henderson, Savannah Henderson, Finn Hicks, John and Malaya Floyd, Al and Layla Dawson, Sophie Hicks, Lake County Board of County Commissioners, Colorado Department of Local Affairs, Leadville Lake County and Fire Rescue, City of Leadville, Lake County Public Works, the Friends of Twin Lakes, Climax Community Fund, John and Susie Kester, Chris and Robin Huckabee, Angel View LLC, Jeffrey Johnson, Matrix Design Group, Inc., and Living Design Studios, Inc. The Board of County Commissioners of the County of Lake and State of Colorado do hereby proclaim that this board expresses its deep appreciation for the volunteerism and financial donations supporting the planning and construction of the Southern Fire Station, passed and adopted at this regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners this 16th day of May, 2023. Board of County Commissioners, Lake County, Colorado.
Thank you very much. Just a small correction, the Leadville Trail 100 Legacy Foundation, not the Lifetime Foundation. That's okay. We often all confuse those. And I can't even begin to correct you on any name pronunciation. Mistakes. So thank you so much for reading that into the record. Excellent. And thanks for preparing this. Thank you, Chief Daly, for being online and joining us while you're traveling. I'll entertain a motion for the acknowledgement.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the proclamation of thanks to individuals and organizations that contributed to the Southern Fire Station.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
None for me, thank you.
None for me.
All right. Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you so much. And we'll move on to item number 5, consideration of a professional service agreement renewal with ACE Court Security. Chris Floyd, do you have anything new for us on the renewal?
Yes, so essentially what this is just y'all might recall that last year the Sheriff's Office entered into an agreement to provide contract security services for the door, entryway, and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That agreement has since expired, but the sheriff asked if it could be renewed on an on-call basis as needed. And so that's what this amendment to the agreement is for, just to extend the term through the end of this year, so that if there is a situation where that security support is needed, he can ask for it.
Okay, and they'll be on the ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
It's my understanding they're willing to provide the services, so we just needed to get the extension approved.
I've worked with Sheriff Speckman and his staff to prepare and submit the court security grant, which doesn't cover this agreement, but covers the staffing for court security. Sheriff Speckman is putting in some more effective practices with court security, potentially having a security deputy responsible for transport and taking charge of all of the anyone that needs to go to court and out, those types of things, to keep that separate from jail function, and provide a little more consistency with getting people to and from court. So that's inclusive of our court security grant application, but our court security grant application does not cover the cost of this, but his professional services budget should.
Excellent. Thanks. I have no questions or concerns.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the professional services agreement renewal with ACE Court Security.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
None for me.
Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. Item 6, discussion and consideration of special events permit liquor license for the following events: the Silver Rush Run and Bike and the Stage Race.
So we did get these posted 10 days ago as appropriate.
Thank you.
They did provide their insurance liability certificate, so everything seems in order.
Great. And I know we had a question on the permitting, but the events that happen in the city have the city's permitting, and the events for the county have the county's. But there's also the county approval of county property within the city, which is a different approval, and the authority of the city to
Well,
approve the liquor licensing, correct?
I'm not sure that's correct. It seems that our previous city clerk was enforcing that just to be difficult.
So,
So the city has authority within the city. You have authority outside city boundary. So I'm not sure that you actually need a special event permit on top of the city special event permit.
Because this is only for the Sports Hall of Fame to do the liquor licensing.
This is for Dutch Henry and
And-
McLovey Park.
And then the event permit for the events that go through the county will come separately.
yeah, that's what I was trying to say that. I
Yeah.
thought that I said that.
No, you're good.
Okay, but I'm happy to have you reiterate it. I think Tamara, has she joined us?
Yeah, she's right. She has
Okay, is there
a question.
Tamara, would you ask your question if we did not clarify that? We cannot hear you if you are trying to speak.
Is she still on the Zoom?
Maybe,
Okay, my apologies, I was derailed and not able to join earlier, I apologize.
no problem. We just
First
got
one.
our item.
This question, and thank you, Commissioner, much for trying to address that, which is essentially, we got mixed feedback when we attempted to apply in the latter part of the season last year towards the 100 mountain bike. We realized that we didn't have county permission to have alcohol on the courthouse lawn. And that process was explained to me that it was a 90-day process, it had to go through the state, and the city could not approve that process. And I'm just trying to clarify that because currently Sports Hall of Fame is confused and being told that the city can grant permission for those two events for the alcohol to be on the courthouse lawn. And I just want to make sure that we all agree that's true so that we don't get behind the 8 ball on the 90-day limit. So does that question make sense? It is not for the Stage Race or Silver Rush. Those are clear, but it is for the 100s when we have start finish down by the courthouse. And the desired outcome is to have the ability to serve the beer on the courthouse lawn. Previously, we had to have a permit approved through the county, which went through the state, which was a 90-day ruling. So just putting that out there to make sure we're all clear on that piece.
So I think that there's two processes there. One needs to have the approval of liquor being served, which is through, I guess, the city. The second is the county policy of allowing alcohol at a county facility. So I think you'll have to go through the city for the liquor licensing and then ask us for permission in the special event permit to waive that policy of having liquor or alcohol on county property.
Which I put it on there in terms of in the permit that I provided for the 100s. I did ask that, but I'm afraid it didn't get highlighted. And I've just heard from Sports Hall of Fame, we don't have any issues. We can serve alcohol on the courthouse lawn. And I'm concerned that's not accurate. And I'm not quite sure who I need to go back to make sure they follow up.
So I would, for the county policy, I would confirm with Marla in CPD to make sure that the county policy and the waiver is included in the permit, and perhaps that's just highlighted when that permit comes to us, that that's in there, and then connect
They
with
would
the,
approve it at city council.
at city council for the actual liquor licensing part.
I believe those have all been approved. So that part's all set on the city side.
Okay, so it's just our side. Okay.
Right, and I've already submitted those permits.
Through the city, yeah.
It hasn't gone through the Senate, okay.
Okay,
On your last
They have
agenda,
it, but-
they-
It's not on tonight's.
It's not on
Okay.
tonight.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought it was on what?
no, the permit for the events is on city council's
tonight.
agenda tonight, but not the special event permit.
The liquor
For the
license.
liquor licenses.
Okay. Okay, so I'd follow up with both of them then.
and it sounds, sorry,
No, that's okay, just Marla and the city for that event in particular.
all right, I will do so. And potential, okay, I'll just do that, thank you, that's all.
Yeah.
So for these pieces, do we have any questions
No, I don't.
regarding the Silver Rush run and bike and the stage race liquor requests? I do not.
I don't know.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the liquor license for the Silver Rush run and bike event and the stage race event.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the special event permit liquor license for the Silver Rush Run and Bike, July 8th and 9th, and the stage race on July 30th.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion?
None for me, thank you.
None for me.
None, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Great.
And on to item number 7, we have discussion and consideration of the adoption of financial policies, and that will be led by County Manager Tim Bergman.
Sure, so you remember a couple months ago, or last year, when we worked through a new budget process, we had discussions of financial policies,
Yes.
and adopting those. So our financial planning policies include, long-range financial planning and just continual analysis of what we're doing with the public's money. Our budget policies, our budget preparation policies, our budget management policies, our intergovernmental budget policies, accounting, auditing, financial reporting policies, our revenue policies, general operating policies, capital planning and budgeting policies. So what's before you today, there are a couple changes that I worked with staff on. So one, we've taken out the investment policies because I haven't gotten that far yet. So these investment policies will come back before you. The biggest thing that I've worked on with staff is for the accounts payable piece in the financial policies is that the invoices will go to the contract manager or the department that procured the goods or services. They will do the coding and then send it to the finance office, to the accounts payable clerk for processing, instead of invoices going to accounts payable and kind of doing it in reverse. So as we start to nail that basic policy and procedure, then we can talk about doing it differently, but those are the changes before you.
Is there? Okay.
And there will be further, so we'll have a work session soon on procurement policy and the accounts payable process for areas that the board, to align with the procurement policy, but areas that the board is comfortable with. Let's say if there's a purchase that's $1,000 or $5,000 that's less, or less, that is, was budgeted for by a department director, that we can move forward in the accounts payable process, set a threshold limit for me to approve, and then the larger ticket items go to you guys to try and expedite the accounts payable process, among other solutions that we're working on. So there will be a work session on accounts payable, if that's where you're going. Or we're
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, no, that would be great, because, yeah, we have that one kind of repository for all invoices to that email, which is meant to catch
Right.
for internally for the finance department.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, however that's meant to evolve, I will speak for myself. I would definitely like to be,
Tim and
directed in the right process, through the right process.
I think Tim and Dallas and I have spent some time when Dallas is here talking through some of those, like how could we do this better? We've collected some data from other counties that do this process, and trying to really be the most efficient that we can be, like, you know, like a $12 invoice shouldn't come to us to ask for where to be coded, or like empowering our staff to just, you know, like, take that budget, read through it, familiarize yourself with the coding, you know, and then go from there. And then some of those reoccurring things like utilities and those kinds of things, having, you know, look for consistencies in the numbers, but perhaps like we don't need to go through an approval of 30 pages of Xcel Energy bills or Parkville water bills. But be sure to recognize, like, if this usage is off the charts, maybe flag it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, just trying to improve some of those efficiencies through these policies and then subsequent work, so.
And that shared inbox will stay, so that all of the finance office has access to it, so nothing gets lost, or buried in their email, but it's always there.
Okay. Appreciate it.
So the financial planning policies are an amendment or
Yeah, what would you,
including,
This would be final adoption,
cool.
or just adoption, I guess.
okay. I don't have any other questions for you myself. Do you have anything
No,
else?
that sounds great.
I don't either. I will make a motion that we adopt the financial policies.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
None for me, thank you.
Nothing.
All right, hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Great, thank you very much. Moving on. We have 2 minutes before the drills start.
Yeah.
Item 8, consideration of professional service agreement with Greg Berry for information technology, IT services. Tim?
Sure, so I would like permission from the board to work with Chris and Greg Berry to come up with a professional services agreement, where maybe a decision pending final legal review. It'll be a $5,000 or less amount, but to help gap the transition of Greg moving. And then I'm starting interviews for a new IT director this Thursday, so it should be quick, but there's some key areas where we need Greg's expertise in the field, so just having a stopgap for those.
Great, I don't have any questions for you there.
None for me.
Just one thing, and it's probably like one of like a lot of things, but Greg had been the point person on figuring out like that underground cable from the potential Justice Center to the existing tower, so if that could be in the long list of handoff things, or if needed, like in that scope of work.
Yes.
If there is any sort of.
And just, final write-out, because we've talked about other things with the deployment of Vero, what that would look like if the county can switch to Vero and leave Lumen or CenturyLink, the dinosaur behind, make other changes that way.
Okay.
And then that work that he did for the Justice Center, so having those write-ups and guiding documents will be part of it.
Cool.
That was it.
Awesome.
Excellent.
So do you need like a formal motion from us to move forward with that, or do you wanna wait and bring us back a scope that's gone through legal review?
Well, and that's what I was just gonna say, I'm just waiting to get that scope of work, because one of the delicate things here is, since he was an employee, we need to make sure that the scope of work that he's performing as a contractor is not the same as what he was doing as an employee. And so we'll work on that, but it's up to y'all if y'all want to see that scope of work before it's put into the PSA.
I mean, I trust that it's specific enough to the transition and not, has that ceiling of that $5,000 threshold. I would feel comfortable entertaining a motion for the approval to direct you to create that scope of work and approve it on final legal review.
Okay. Make a motion that we approve giving the county manager and legal the authority to create the scope of work for Greg Berry for IT information technology services. And move on approving that pending final legal review.
Second.
Any further discussion?
None for me.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Great. Number 9, discussion and consideration of Leadville Regional Airport improvements and funding for the taxi lane, including approval of option 2 of taxi lane construction, utilize 2024 BIL funds, and advance $193,000 to be repaid. Josh Adamson's here. We had a work session going into this more in depth, where you presented us all the options and the recommendations, and then that payment plan. And we had talked about approving or accepting your recommendation to use the 2024 bill funds, which was 110,000.
Yes,
Um,
of additional, so we'll use 22, 23, and 24 bill funds.
okay. And that'll, the upfront cost is 193 out of general fund, but that will be replenished by those bill funds, and then the payback will be about 74,000 or $84,000.
Correct.
Yeah, by the airport.
Correct.
Did we, I'm sorry, I'm not recalling the payback time period, was that a year or two?
I don't know if we discussed.
I don't know that we discussed a time period, but I think that if we move to approve this, we can ask Tim and Josh to bring us that proposed scope in a subsequent meeting, perhaps.
Okay.
And then, just to make clear, that it is just the
An advancement.
reimbursement, yeah, it's an
Yeah.
advance, and then reimbursement of that advance is not a loan.
Yes.
Did I say one?
No,
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 you
I just
can-
put that for
Okay.
the record.
I was just wondering.
No, you did it. And then the total cost of the project is a little over $1 million for option
It's,
2.
about 1.1.
Okay, and so what we're giving is the $193,000 for that $1.1 million project. So really like leveraging the 193,000 pretty substantially.
I don't have any questions for you coming out of that work session discussion.
I don't either. I will make a motion that we approve the Leadville Regional Airport improvements and funding for the taxi lane, including the option of option 2 of taxi lane construction, utilization of 2024 BIL funds, and an advancement of $193,000 from the general fund to be repaid.
I'll second.
Yep, sorry, go ahead.
I'll second.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
I just think if you want to bring us a plan for the repayment of the advancement, that would be great.
The one piece I didn't bring up on the work session was that this change order is less than 25% of the total. We went through it with the engineers, so we don't have to go out for rebid
Okay,
with the company. So this will be awarded to the lowest bidder, and the engineers will submit the change order to them, and since it's less than 25% of the total cost, we don't have to rebid the project, so.
we can
Excellent.
keep moving forward.
Excellent.
Okay,
Remind me when that work will be done? Is that this year or
Likely
next?
It'll be August.
Great. Okay.
I just had one comment. Everyone really I mean, this has been the case for a couple other agenda items. It was great that we had like a work session agenda to like work through this and not like try to cram everything into the actual BOCC meetings. It's just great that we're getting on top of getting ahead of things like that and having a chance for us all to see it and come up with other questions that we think of later. So this is great.
That wasn't me.
cool.
Yes, agreed.
Okay,
Appreciate that comment.
That was his warning.
Yes,
Yeah.
one more
2
left.
minutes.
That's the pile of hole. Now we're about to get crushed.
Awesome. We did, yeah, you made the motion. Great. Any further discussion on the motion?
no, none for me, thank you.
Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Excellent. Okay. One more left. Well, yeah, a little bit. Discussion and consideration of Leadville Lake County Fire Rescue burning on county land during wildfire field day training. Chief McCann is here with us. Do you want to give us a little overview of your plan?
Yeah, so I would say that we've been doing wildland training for probably the last 5 years. Once a year, we bring everybody in the department together and do a training where we're all there and we can all get on the same page on how to do a very effective initial attack wildland fire. And last year was the first time that we did it here. You guys approved us using this land, which was absolutely phenomenal because we could actually have live fire. And we set a fire, and then we had the different shifts extinguish that fire and be able to practice using all of the different techniques that we have. But it's really for our new firefighters, in order to really get good training and for them to understand how much water it takes to put out how much fire, we really need to have the live fire training. It's very valuable. So I'm here to request that you give us permission to use this land again. Our training's gonna be this weekend, and on Saturday, we're gonna be doing skills. And so on Saturday, we're not gonna have any live fire. We're just gonna go through muscle memory and everything that they need to do to put the fire out. And then on Sunday, we'll actually light some fires. This is a incredibly safe place to do this. The winds generally come out of the west, and everything east of there, everything downwind from there is, there's the gravel pit, and then there's just some sage that if the fire got into there would be very easy to take care of. With the conditions that we have right now, with the relative humidities, the high fuel moisture content, like even if embers did go out there, the chances of it actually starting a fire is very, very low. And then beyond that is the training center. And so we've got a pretty good backstop there. We have a number of, we've identified all of the risks that are associated with this, and we have risk management tactics in place. And so one more benefit to doing this is this little area that you see right here. We're doing some absolutely amazing mitigation work in there. And it is county land. So that's kind of a really quick overview. If you have any questions or if you'd like to know anything more, I'd love to. I know it said discussion up there, so I'm up for a discussion.
Chief, you said mitigation work. Can you talk more about what you do in preparation for the live fire?
So what we do is we go through there and we limb up the trees. And so we take the dead ladder fuels out of the trees and we use that as fuel for the fire. And we've also been gathering up surface fuels, or the fuels that are dead and already on the ground. And so rather than being in that whole area spread out here and there, and I don't know if you've been in there, there's places that are already pretty nice, but then there's also places that are pretty ratty. So those places, we take all that fuel and we burn it. And then we're also, we will have single tree and group tree torching. And we go in there and we go, oh, here's a dead tree, or here's a tree that's dying that has all kinds of sap coming out of it. And so what we're doing is we are burning all of the burnable material in there. And this isn't, it wasn't done last year. It's not going to be finished this year. We're hoping to get 2 or 3 more years out of this. And by the time we do that, there shouldn't be any dead fuel in there. It should just be nice, live, healthy forest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I think it's good context to understand, like, you're not, when we say live fires, it can worry a lot of people, and there's a lot of like manicuring, if you will, that gets done to prepare for kind of addressing the fuels in the area. Thank you.
Excuse me, I just get excited.
The only thing I had a question on was I didn't see specific dates in the plan. So if you just have those
Okay, yeah, so the date is Sunday, May 21st.
Okay,
It's this Sunday.
okay,
So we'll be doing training on Saturday as well.
okay.
But most of that will, we'll be coming over to this land a little bit on Saturday to do some prep.
Okay.
And to let everybody see it.
Okay,
Most of the training on Saturday will be at the training center,
okay,
but then Sunday will all be here on this land.
okay. And then do you have, a plan to maybe use the trailers from Public Works to say that there's a prescribed burn in the area, if anybody's recreating out there?
Oh, the sign, the
Yeah,
mobile
the
sign,
signboards,
signboards?
or could you?
We could,
Yeah.
absolutely. So what I just get with Michael and Mabel.
Yeah,
to get
Yeah.
those?
I'd also have Claire post it on the OEM Facebook page.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I just think, maybe having those mobile signs with, like, out on Highway 300 or by the golf course or something to say, like, a prescribed burn in place, please do not call 911 would be helpful.
We are gonna get with the highway,
Okay,
and we're
Yeah,
gonna have the highway put it on the big signs out on Highway 24.
okay,
that's
But
great.
we'll also get signs from the county for Highway 300 and County Road 11.
yeah, that might be good.
Yeah,
And
Claire.
I'll get with Claire,
Okay,
and have her put something on the website.
excellent.
Claire is gonna be there as well with
Okay.
the mobile command center.
okay,
And hopefully we're gonna have Chelsea from dispatch come out too. So
Excellent.
in addition to the wildland training, we're gonna try to get a little bit of incident command and communication training
Okay,
with this. Yeah.
great.
Cool.
I also have like a list of about 10 people from like 5A in that area that I could notify for you or share with you. Just that are in close proximity
That would be
to
great.
warn the adjacent neighbors.
And it's in here somewhere. We're gonna contact everybody in Stargazer
Mhm.
okay,
and let everybody in Stargazer know as well.
okay,
So, just so they don't get, they look over there and see flames coming out of the forest and get nervous.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So that would be wonderful, Commissioner.
I will share that. with you.
awesome,
Thank you.
Great.
cool.
I don't have any questions. I think this is really important and a great location to exercise that.
Yeah, I don't either. So I will make a motion that we approve the Leadville Lake County Fire Rescue LLCFR bringing on county land for wildfire training.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
None for me, thank
Me.
you.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
And there's one other thing that I just kind of want,
Yeah.
we're partnering with the Forest Service. So
Okay.
the Forest Service, our partners with the Forest Service are gonna be there
Oh, great.
as well.
Nice.
And so I think that's the situation that we have here. It's really important that we have that, the best relationship we can with them
Yeah,
and practice working with them a little bit.
that's great. That's,
Another bonus.
yeah,
Thank you.
excellent. All right. Any further
I
discussion?
was gonna say,
from
let's
you?
vote.
Okay,
Yeah.
all those in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you. Excellent. Appreciate it, chief. All right, on to the consent agenda. In that we have listed the Veteran Services Monthly Report, the minutes from, should be April 19th, 18th and 19th, bills and payroll for
Thank
pay
you.
period ending May 5th, 2023. I didn't have any, I think on the 18th, there was like the smallest, hold on, let me pull it up. Grammatical, this item has been tabled
Yeah.
to date uncertain in item 6 instead of tables. That is all the comments that I have miraculously.
Yeah.
Change. Thank you, Tracy.
I actually had a question because I saw that too. If we see something, should we suggest changes in a comment in this document, or should we do it sort of like outline and send, is it helpful to try to do it before and send it to you?
I think it would be more helpful to have it beforehand.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm
We can
okay
do
with
that.
that.
okay. All right,
That's all I had, and then I think the 19th was that special meeting for the Saturday's liquor.
Yep.
Right,
That, and you guys are okay with that one?
all right, do I have an approval of the full consent agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve the full consent agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Excellent. And at 12:16, we will adjourn. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Wow.